Welcome to City Conversations. Today, as you can see, we're not in our usual FSU studio where we certainly like to film these, but we're actually Segra Stadium. And with us today, we have Mark Zarther, who is the president of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. Thanks, Mark, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So what I'd like to get into before we talk about the baseball team itself is kind of what led us to what we got to today. So really about a 2-year process. And so we started in June of 2016, looking at a feasibility study to determine if the Astros could really bring a Class A team here, both from their side and from ours, and what that actually meant to the community. And so soon after we did that, we actually went into signing a memorandum of understanding with them, which, as you see here, was actually with Mayor Nat Robertson at the time. And the Astros, tell me who that is again.
President Reed Ryan.
President Reed Ryan, there you go. We had a lot of folks coming in from the Astros,
Sure.
so I still get some of those confused. And then right now you're looking at the groundbreaking for the event itself. That's actually out in front of the Prince Charles Hotel, where we were establishing the actual start point for the stadium. And that actually happened in August of 17. Just before that, we had signed, City Council had approved a budget for the stadium itself. And then it took about 600 days to get from that groundbreaking you saw out in front of the Prince Charles to where I'm sitting today for the actual stadium to be built. So what you're looking at here is a rendering of the stadium. And what's amazing as we walk around the stadium today is you'll see that this rendering is almost exactly like what we are at today here as we sit here in Segra Stadium. And you're going to notice in just a second here, this rendering itself, which looks real, will actually pop to the actual stadium itself that you'll see in just a second. There we go. So that's the actual stadium the day after the ribbon cutting. Grass is in place. The stands are all ready for our folks to come in, and again brings us back to where we are today. So that's kind of a quick history of where we're at. Just under 2 years in the making, getting from an old parking lot behind me to where we are today with the stadium being here. So really, we're going to do a little bit differently today than we normally do. We're not going to sit here with Mark for the next 30 or so minutes and talk baseball. We're going to talk baseball for a minute, and then what we're going to do is get up and do a walkabout in the stadium and learn a little bit about what the amenities are here that really bring this fan experience to light as you come to watch a baseball game. So Mark, let's start with a Class A team and what exactly that means.
Sure. So the Fayetteville Woodpeckers are an owned affiliate of the Houston Astros. We are a Class A advanced affiliate. AAA is the closest level to the major leagues. AA follows AAA. After AA is Advanced A, in which the Woodpeckers are. Below us is Low A and a couple levels of baseball below that. What's significant about Advanced A is that we have highly touted prospects that are future major leaguers here in Fayetteville. Those prospects are expected to advance to AA, to AAA, and eventually to the major leagues. So you're getting the same talent pool you would see at AAA. You're just getting these players early in their career, which makes it exciting for the fans to see these young, raw prospects that are very hungry to get promoted to the big leagues.
And I know you've had folks in the previous 2 years move up to the major leagues already, is that right?
That is correct. Notably, Kyle Tucker, Miles Straw, and a few others who played at Bowie's Creek are now playing still in the Astros organization, and they've had appearances in the major leagues with the Houston Astros. Miles Straw in particular, you would have seen him last year in the MLB playoffs. So the advancement can be fairly rapid from Advanced A to the major leagues.
That's fantastic, and I'm glad you brought up Bowie's Creek because we really didn't talk about that at the beginning. So while this stadium was being built for the last 2 years, y'all were actually here already, but actually playing up in Campbell University.
Sure. So we were located in Lancaster, California. The Astros made a conscious decision to move its operations in Advanced A to the Carolina League. Not only is the Carolina League a very strong organization, but also the proximity to Texas and the time zone challenges would be better solved by being here on the East Coast. And in identifying the Carolina League as an appropriate partner, we needed to find a location between Delaware and South Carolina to bring our baseball team. It was a perfect storm between the city of Fayetteville having interest in a minor league baseball team, the Astros having an interest in the Carolina League, and also the Prince Charles group and them having an interest in bolstering downtown. With all those factors in play, plus having this robust community here featuring Fort Bragg and a fairly large population, it was a perfect fit for us. While we're waiting for the stadium to be built, we had 2 years in which we needed to have a facility to play in. Campbell University was nice enough to host our organization for 2 years at their facilities, and they have a beautiful ballpark now, beautiful field turf, and it was a perfect home for those 2 years.
Right. And you know, I'm learning about baseball as we go. I've learned a lot more over the last 2 years than I had known previously. But what I didn't realize, nor did a lot of folks here in the city, was just how critical that timing was. That team that you purchased out in California couldn't move but at certain times. And so as you all approached us, and as you mentioned, we had this economic development going on here with Jordan Jones and Prince Charles Holdings looking into some potential development. That really was the perfect storm to happen at only a time that it could, because if we hadn't taken that opportunity then, we really wouldn't be here today.
That's correct, and you see the momentum that's happening downtown, and visiting downtown, walking Hay Street, that was enticing for the Astros. Seeing the opportunity here, seeing the potential that exists here in downtown Fayetteville, you know, not only do we want our players to succeed and develop, but we also want to have a fan atmosphere that bodes well for those players and for our business. And a downtown location here in Fayetteville is perfect for that.
Well, when it's amazing too, when you realize 70 home games that you're going to be playing here. You've already had, I think 7 or 8, and you've got a slew of them coming up here in the near future. So 70 between now and September. Tell me about it, the attendance that you've had so far at these games.
Sure. So our opening night, we had over 6,000 fans in attendance. It was a packed house. And since that day, every one of our games, whether it be on a Monday, Tuesday, or a Friday, Saturday, we've had a near full house. We've had all of our sections have been full of fans. The response from the community has been tremendous. We've even had our right field bar, Heelys, open on non-game days and had heavy traffic coming through to see the ballpark and sit down for a beer. So whether it's game day, non-game day, our park has been very popular with the community.
People can stroll through here, check it out, get a taste for what it's like, and it really encourages them to, to think about coming back here for a game.
That's correct. It's a truly full year-round facility. We have special events, baseball games. Our club level is open for private rentals. So it doesn't matter whether it's January or August, something will be happening for the ballpark. Our ballpark is available not only for fans of baseball, but for anyone that's interested in having an event here at the facility.
Sure, and I'm glad you brought that up, because 70 games obviously doesn't fill 365 days in a year, so there's all those other 200 and some odd days available where people can do different things up here, whether it's a wedding, whether it's retirement ceremonies, whether it's a corporate event that somebody might come here to do.
That's
and is
correct.
that starting to line up from your end now?
Yes, so we will be featuring the Big South tournament, Big South Baseball Tournament here in Fayetteville. That will begin later on in May. We have a slew of other events happening between music, beer festivals, anything involving kids. We'll be open to having here at the ballpark. So we ask the community to stay tuned. We'll have plenty of special announcement. Some of those more robust events will be happening outside of the season, just to ensure that the playing surface is held in check.
Sure. Well, I certainly is an amazing experience. I remember sitting here for that first game on opening night. It was just amazing to look around us and see all those people. And we've got a video that we had earlier that we can maybe take a look at that showed opening day. And so you mentioned 6,000 plus people here at attendance, sellout crowd. Talk a little bit about what you're looking at right here, if you would.
Sure. So the listed capacity for our ballpark is 5,000 roughly, and we have the ability to bring more fans into the ballpark on any given night if the demand is there. The way we're able to do that is by expanding our game day operations, our security, our food and beverage operations, other facets of the ballpark experience that can allow for more fans to be here. And so on opening night, we're able to expand those operations and have just over 6,200 fans in attendance at the ballpark. Through just a few weeks of the season, we've actually exceeded our attendance from all of last year at Bowie's Creek. So
Wow.
The response has been terrific.
That's fantastic, and I think that's going to keep up.
Correct.
This is a great new thing for folks to do downtown, and as you said, from an economic development perspective, certainly is a great boon to the downtown area and to Fayetteville in general.
Correct.
We were talking earlier before we started talking today about the folks you had talked to at the Dogwood Festival and how this is bringing in people from outside the area. So we're hoping too that that happens from the baseball side.
Dogwood Festival was a great opportunity for us. The folks over at Dogwood Festival did a tremendous job of bringing in families and from all over, not just Cumberland County, but all the way up to Wake County and some of the surrounding areas. And having those people come visit our ballpark and get a glimpse of what now exists in downtown Fayetteville was a big opportunity for the Fayetteville Woodpeckers, also a big opportunity for the city of Fayetteville. People are still discovering that this ballpark exists. And the more we're able to get that positive word out there, the more people will continue to come to our games, but more importantly, continue to come to downtown Fayetteville to have dinner have drinks and do shopping and come see the ballpark.
Sure. And back to the players, you were talking about how they move from advanced A up to the major leagues. I know you said you've got a few players right now that are respectful for doing that very thing.
Correct. So yeah, our first and foremost opportunity or responsibility here in Fayetteville is to look after the betterment of our players, ensure that they have comfortable places to live and they have an environment to get better and improve their ability in the field. But seeing those players advance, that's the biggest goal for us. And so far we've had multiple players advance to AA, notably Brian Abreu, who's one of our most highly touted prospects. And so, if you see a player here and you can tell that he is maybe a bit above and beyond the playing field, there's a potential that he'll be moved up fairly quickly. So be sure to get his autograph before he advances.
Well, that's exciting. I remember sitting down there a week or so ago with opening game night, and folks were doing exactly that. There were kids coming down and bringing baseballs to the sideline as players were warming up, getting autographs, and there was a lot of great fan interaction there with the players that took the time to come over and see them. So that was kind of special. Now, as well as the fan experience, or not the fan experience, but the experience for your players, I know a huge thing for your team is giving back to the community. And before you tell me how they do that, I will say too, it was really great to see from our council members' perspective. A few of our council said, one of the things that sold me, particularly them in particular, on bringing your team here was they knew that you were going to give back. It wasn't just about bringing baseball to the community and advancing our players. It was about what you as an organization could do to give back to the community that you live in.
Correct. So this stems all the way back to our Houston Astros organization. Jim Crane, our owner, when he first took over the Houston Astros, determined that they need to have more involvement in the community, and he created the Astros Foundation, and under that, the Astros Community Leaders Program. And the Community Leaders Program in Houston, what it does is it raises funds via its sponsors and other avenues to put that money back into the community, particularly through youth sports. They've redeveloped playing fields, they've given equipment and training to players and coaches in the Houston area. And so we wanted to replicate that here in Fayetteville. It's a near perfect model. And so we developed our own Community Leaders Program here in Fayetteville underneath the Woodpeckers Foundation. And the two primary benefits of the Community Leaders Program are Little League sports via the Parks and Rec of Cumberland County and Fayetteville, and also to the military community. The Patriot Foundation and Rick's Place are two partners of ours. And so we have today a handful of community leaders partners that have invested in our foundation, and all of that money is being redistributed into the community via youth sports and the military. And behind us here, we have in left field, adjacent to our scoreboard, all of our community leaders partners on our community leaders board to give them recognition. And you can see Segra, Avex Aerospace, ASUS of Fort Bragg, the Walsingham Group, and Carolina's Dentist. Those organizations have stepped up to the plate, sorry for the baseball pun, but stepped up to the plate to contribute back to this community.
No, that's fantastic. Well, again, that was, I know, a huge thing for our city council that they really wanted it to progress, push this thing forward because of what you're doing to give back. And so certainly that's a welcome thing on our side.
Correct. It's not just about downtown. It's about all of Fayetteville.
Exactly.
It's all of Cumberland County and Fort Bragg.
Sure.
And so we're trying to make this not a downtown project, but a community improvement project as well.
So one of the things, too, I would share or like to share with our audience watching, too, is that it's not just about what you're doing to give back. It's not just about your players. I'm not a baseball guy. I'm learning to be one, and I'm learning the game. But I will tell you, coming to that first game, my wife and I walked around the stadium for 2 hours, and it was really just a social thing. It's a gathering where you're bringing people together. So you may be a baseball person, you may be a little bit of a baseball person. And so talk a little bit about that fan experience and what you're really hoping to achieve here with that.
You hit the nail on the head. You don't need to be a baseball fan to have a good time at Segra Stadium. Our concourse is set up to be a full 360 experience. You can walk a full circle around the baseball stadium, and dependent on who you are and who your group is that night, there should be an experience for you in the ballpark to cater to what you're looking to do. Our left field is more family friendly with our kid zone and our berm. You can bring a blanket, sit down there for a little while. We do have Heelys in right field offering food and drinks throughout the course of the night with big screen televisions to watch the game. Behind home plate, you have 4 field boxes and you have a dugout box, as well as luxury suites on our premium level if you're looking for that more luxurious opportunity, if you're having a networking events, etc. You can have it here at the ballpark and have a bit more of a premium experience.
So that's fantastic, and really I got to take part in all of that as we walked around and really did enjoy it. And we'll get into more detail as we do our walkabout. But before we do that, let's take a look at this time-lapse video that we've put together that shows this build in 600 plus days and how exactly this stadium came to fruition. It's about a minute and a half long and really gives us a good flavor before we do our walkabout for just what this thing looked like when it was a parking lot until it was a final stadium build.
Sure.
Right, so Mark, right now we're in the AVEX Veterans Club, clearly overlooking the field and a nice spot to be. The AC is nice and cold. I got a bar over here. I got food service area over here. Tell me about what it takes to get inside this special spot.
Yes, the AVEX Veterans Club is a very unique space, has a great vantage point of both the ballpark but also Heelys Plaza. AVEX is a defense contractor that is headquartered in California, but one of their divisions is headquartered here in downtown Fayetteville. They're specifically an aerospace defense contractor, and they believe in our vision for the stadium. They believe in what we have up here, and this space is available for individual game purchases. Our season tickets, though, however, did sell out the entire space. But you have this space available for private rental. You can have a holiday party, a networking event, a retirement party in this space, whether it be a nighttime event or more of a breakfast or lunch event. We've had several business events occur here so far. We have a lot of retirement parties coming up.
Right. So it's great because it goes back to that whole point that it's not just about the game and what's going on back here. This could be a daytime event during an off-game time, or it could be a nighttime event during a game.
Correct.
So really any way that you want to play it, lots of opportunity.
That's correct. And it also opens up to our party deck. That party deck is going to be transformed into the Corona party deck.
Okay.
So you'll see more of a cool beachy vibe out there very soon. And that space is available for private rentals as well, for a game or for a non-game day event.
So party deck, see, I did have that term right. It was just in the wrong spot.
Correct.
Landing
There's a party
zone,
deck
party
that's
deck.
adjacent to the club level. There's a landing deck that's adjacent to our rifle
Okay.
bar.
Well, let's walk down this way. I understand you've got 6 suites available as well, and there's a couple up here. Let's go take a look at one of these. And so you explained it a little bit, but just to clarify, if you get access to the AVEX Club behind us, you also get a suite, or how does that part work?
That is not correct, unfortunately. Suites are available for nightly rentals and for season-long rentals. And so we'll walk into one of our suites right here. AVEX was in the suite last night, and it's a beautiful vantage point of the ballpark. It's probably your most luxurious experience you can have here. There are 12 seats outside, 12 fixed seats with maybe the best view in the house.
Wow. Holy cow. That's a gorgeous view. And so of these 6 suites, how many are already rented for the entire season?
4 of them are rented for the entire season. 2 of them are available on a nightly rental.
Okay.
There are still rentals available between now and the end of the season, so those that are interested can call our box office or stop by.
Okay. And that's on your website as well, right?
That's correct.
FayettevilleWoodpeckers.com.
Correct.
You can find out all the pricing options.
Yes.
Well, this is fantastic. This is certainly someplace I wouldn't mind coming one day.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen the upstairs, let's go take a look at the downstairs area, Mark.
Sure.
So here is our team clubhouse. Tell us a little bit about what this is used for.
This is the Woodpeckers' home clubhouse. It's where our players spend a lot of their time. They arrive here shortly before lunch on game day, and they stay here through the night. As you can see, we have luxury furniture here for our players engraved with our Woodpecker logo, big screen TVs, high-tech sound systems. The purpose of this is not only to have our players a place to prepare for the game, we also want to make them feel like they're at home. They spend several hours here. We have 140 games a season, so as comfortable as they can be, the better they perform, and the better lives they'll live.
So really, they're home away from home, and then even a place for them to eat here.
That's correct. We do service our players 2+ meals a day, and so a lot of those meals are shared in this dining facility right here. And as you can see, there's plenty of space for our players to entertain themselves and hang out before games.
Sure, very comfortable. And then even over here, we've got a weight room as well where they can work out.
That's correct. So this isn't your run-of-the-mill hotel fitness center. This is the real deal. We have plenty of free weights. We have a lot of high-tech equipment in here that I don't honestly know what it does, but we do know that there's a lot of performance-related pieces here that are specific to our players' needs and helping them improve as baseball players.
Right. And even the visitors' clubhouse is down the way from here
as
correct.
Well,
so they use that when they come here?
That's correct. And the other side of the weight room is the visitors' clubhouse. Also, it's a very nice facility to make our visiting players feel as though they're at home.
Okay. And then once they leave here, through the tunnel, and then out to the stadium, and actually out onto the field.
That's correct. So the route we'll take now is through the tunnel onto the field, and so you're kind of getting a glimpse inside what it's like for a Woodpeckers player to take the field on game day.
But once they come out of this tunnel, they're out there for the duration of the game.
They have the opportunity to come back into the clubhouse throughout the game, and you'll see players do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Whether it's to grab a piece of equipment, go to the bathroom, maybe have some medical training done.
Sure.
They can do that throughout the game, and with our dugout being adjacent to the tunnel, makes that very easy.
Right. Well, that's handy. Let's go take a look at the field and see what this looks like out here from an on-the-ground perspective. All right, let's go check out the field.
So this is the route the home players take down to the dugout and up onto the field. As you can see here, it's a full-length dugout, Major League-style dugout. The stairs lead right up to the field itself. The grass we have here at Segra Stadium is latitude 36 Bermuda grass. It's beautiful. It's perfect for our conditions. It does require a lot of maintenance work, but we have a full-time staff that's prepared to do that.
So what they're out here doing now?
That's correct.
And how many times a week do they have to mow this? Of course, it depends on the rain, but is this a several-time-a-week process?
It varies depending on the climate, depending on the weather that week, but our grounds crew is here every day doing some sort of work on the field.
They got quite a task at hand to keep this place in pristine shape.
That's correct, and it only gets more challenging once the summer heat hits.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I've seen up on the board in previous games that I've attended that there's other events that happen out here. I saw Scout Night one night that's going to happen in here, where the scouts come out on the field and stay overnight is my guess from previous experience. I've seen other events that you're going to do out here, and so it's not just the baseball games, there's all of those other things that happen as well.
That's correct. We're having a wider variety of events here, obviously some baseball events outside of the Woodpeckers games, including the Big South Tournament. We'll have concerts and beer festivals, etc. Some of those events are more demanding on the field itself, such as a concert. We will try to hold off on hosting those events until after our season is concluded, knowing that the turnaround time on repairing the field is a bit longer.
Sure. So, dugout for home team, dugout for visiting team over here.
That's correct.
And a beautiful field. So over here on the left field side, and we've got, what are these called, half tops?
These are called four tops.
Four tops, okay.
Correct. 4 fans at each table. What's great is that it's in a semicircle and the chairs swivel, so no matter where you're sitting, you have a great angle of the field. Each one of these tables has its own wait service, so you can order food and have, almost like a restaurant dining type experience.
So they're delivering right to you then?
That's correct.
That's awesome.
And those are all for sale in groups of 4.
Okay. And you can buy them per game?
That's correct.
Okay.
You can buy them per game, or you can buy season tickets of your own
So
top.
some people have done that as well then.
That's correct.
There's a good
You
amount
see
here.
plenty of businesses that are trying to entertain clients
Sure.
or having networking opportunities using these 4 tops as
Right.
a way to do that.
And so that's reserved here, but over here, berm seating is not. This is general admission.
That's correct. The majority of our outfield areas are general admission. Here behind our bullpen is our berm. You'll see the berm is very popular with families bringing blankets and sitting down on that blanket and almost having a picnic type atmosphere
Right.
in left field. It's a very popular spot, and it's also right in front of our kid zone, which is behind our community leaders board and scoreboard. Our kid zone is open. Kids must be supervised, but it's a great experience for kids to play around and let off some energy
Right.
while they're at the game.
And there's no cost for this either, right? That's part of your general admission or
That's
your
correct.
admission.
Everyone
ticket
has
to get in.
access.
Okay.
We have a baseball diamond. We have a playground. What you don't see are our inflatables because they are deflated at the moment. But traditionally during game, you'll see 3 inflatables that rise up in the back of the kid zone.
Sure. And as we continue around the concourse here, tell me a little bit about this screen that you've got. I understand this is one of the larger screens or the largest screen in minor league baseball.
Yes, so 2 things you'll notice in left field. One is our scoreboard. It's 25 by 70 foot LED scoreboard. It's a size that's unprecedented in minor league baseball and especially in high A. And adjacent to our big LED board is our community leaders board. Our community leaders board features multiple companies that have invested not only in the Fayetteville Woodpeckers, but invested back into our community through youth sports and military service. Those 5 companies are Segra, Acers Fort Bragg, the Walsingham Group, King Carolina's Dentist, and Avex Aerospace as well, who's located here in downtown Fayetteville.
Plenty of room for more folks, I think, as we've talked about before, to go up on that board.
That's correct. There is space on that board for more partners that want to invest in the local Fayetteville community. It's been a big part of our vision here for Fayetteville. It's not just having baseball games and not just entertaining people, but also giving back to the community.
And then back again to the seating or the open space. These tops here are for folks with general admission tickets that could easily come up here and just sit, watch the game, have a beer, have a drink, have a Coke.
That's correct. I think I've seen your family up here at these rails before.
You have, yeah. These are great rails. It's really a premier spot.
The one nice thing about the size of our ballpark is that regardless of where you're standing or where you're sitting, you have a great vantage point of the game. And so these rails might be in the outfield, but you can still see the entire game and interact with your friends and your family here.
It's neat you say that too, and interesting. So having not been a huge baseball guy before, and the seats that my wife and I do have, we actually just get up and walk around a large part of the time anyway. And so you're able to stop at places like that don't require a ticket and enjoy the game experience from somewhere other than your seats.
That's correct. Most of our fans, regardless of whether they have season tickets behind home plate, they will make a full 360 walk around the concourse at some point throughout the game.
Right.
As you said, taking in the game from different aspects.
Sure. And then over to this area where the rocking chairs, these are paid areas here. You do have to have a ticket to get into this area, but you can certainly sit down here and enjoy the game in a more relaxed manner.
That is correct. These are our rocking chairs. Our rocking chairs are numbered seats, so you do need to have a ticket to have a rocking chair, but it's definitely the most comfortable seat in the house.
Oh, this is awesome.
So if you can snag your hands on one of these tickets, I highly recommend it, especially if the weather's beautiful out. There's no better way to end a work night by sitting out here on the rocking chair.
No, it's fantastic. No, this is a great spot. Great spot. All right, let's go walk behind the batter's eye, and while we're doing that, on the way over to the bar, tell me a little bit about what the batter's eye means. That's a term I'm just learning,
Sure.
relatively new to this baseball scene.
So you may see a screen, a large black screen above our center field wall. The reason why there is a screen above that center field wall is because when a player is detecting, when the player's at bat and he's detecting the baseball off of the pitcher's hand, it's really hard to see that white baseball if the background of that player's vision is noisy.
Right.
Different colors, different depths,
Sure.
etc. So what baseball stadiums do is install black screens where you can clearly see the white ball coming off the pitcher's hand. And that's all the player can see in the background.
So there'll be no advertising going up in this as you fill up the advertising around the stadium. This stays black the whole time.
That is correct.
And now we're into the Heelys Bar area. Talk a little bit about this spot, which again I understand is open seating.
Correct. Heelys Bar is named after a partner of ours, Healy Distribution Company. They've invested significantly not only in the ballpark but in other areas of Fayetteville, and we felt like it was an appropriate name to create our own original bar concept here in Fayetteville. The right field bar is not just the bar here, but you have, as you can see, all these drink rails with high top chairs, great vantage point of the ballpark. We have a grill out here that services the patrons at Heelys Bar. You'll see artificial turf, couches, cornhole boards, Connect 4. We'll have foosball tables installed next week. So
Oh, wow.
plenty of activities for our fans to partake here. Again, this is general admission. Anyone in the ballpark has access to Heelys Bar. 30 beers on tap, big screen televisions, great place to watch your favorite team, even if they're not the Woodpeckers.
Sure.
So this has been one of, if not our most popular part of the ballpark throughout the beginning of our season.
You know, every time I'm in here, I see several hundred people lined up, and there's room for that many. I think
Correct.
when I was doing a quick check of the seats, probably about 200 plus seats in this area.
Mm-hmm. And the space will not just be open for game days, but also non-game days. We'll open the bar on Saturdays to have viewing events for sports and other activities. You know, the Heelys can live whether or not there's a baseball game happening here.
Right. Well, let's go check out, what's the name of this area up here? I said the party deck.
This is
that
our
the
landing
landing
deck.
zone?
This is the landing deck,
You
yes.
say party deck, but it really is a great place for a party anyway.
Yes.
And I think we talked about this during the interview, but again, reiterating that point, as we were looking the city to put this stadium in a very confined space, underneath us as we speak, there's a bunch of lawnmowers and maintenance equipment sitting because we had to put this in a confined spot. So having to use dual purpose on the space with the landing zone up here and maintenance equipment down below.
Correct. It's not easy to fit a full minor league ballpark in a small downtown footprint, so we had to use every square foot possible to ensure that our stadium experience was adequate. And again, the landing deck is sort of a play off of Heelys right field bar, where it's more opportunities for people to sit down, have a beer, play some lawn games, and you know, maybe feel like they're not in downtown. They're actually out by the beach.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the concessions and what exists around the rest of the stadium.
So all of our concepts here have a different variety of food. As you can see behind you, Cooperstown Cantina is a bit more of a Mexican variety, whereas Liberty Sausage Company and Sherwood Steaks, of course, serve sausages and cheese steaks. And so Bagwell's Burgers is your station for a variety of burgers, not just your traditional cheeseburger that you might see at a stadium, but we have a Pittsburgher that has French fries, coleslaw, and other toppings on top of it.
Oh, wow.
So trying to really be creative with each of the concepts. Sherwood Steaks has cheesesteak nachos, and they're about this big, and
Wow.
so that's a big popular one
I
with a
think
lot of our fans.
that's the one I'm trying next time. I had
Okay.
the pork nachos just most recently when I was in here, and they were fantastic.
On third base is our Boley's Barbecue.
Right.
And, you know, I was hesitant putting barbecue in a baseball stadium, you know, in kind of the home of barbecue, yet
Sure.
we've gotten tremendous feedback that it stacks up with something.
Yeah, no, we really enjoyed it last night. It was a good thing. All right, so we've been around most of the stadium. I know we've got a merchandise store I'd like to share with our viewers
Sure.
to let them take a look at that. So here we are in front of the Bird's Nest, which is your merchandise store, which I know is a
Correct.
hugely popular thing. Tell me a little bit about what's in here.
So in our team store, you'll see hats, T-shirts, pullovers, golf polos, anything that you would imagine a fan might want to wear. We have it in the team store. We have a lot of items for kids as well. And there's different themes here. You have our traditional Woodpeckers home and road themes, but we also have our alternate themes, such as our Black Ops theme, which we are showcasing here today. Later on in the year, we'll have our 1970s theme, as well as our Turn Back the Clock theme.
Sure. So this merchandise is constantly changing. It's not like you're going to put things in here and it's going to stay the same throughout the season. It's always moving around. New stuff coming out all the time.
Correct. So fans should remember, you know, always come in, check out what's new. You might see something that you didn't expect, and pick up for the family. This team store is very large for a minor league baseball stadium.
Oh, it's huge.
And we've actually broken a few records throughout the first couple
Really?
weeks. That's correct.
That's something to be proud of. Only being in existence for 2 weeks now, right?
Yes, and I think part of it is, you know, us having a tremendous retail operation and tremendous selection, but it's also showing that the fans here are embracing the Woodpeckers, not just the team, but our brand.
And this place is open during the week, not just on game nights. So you can come out here on any given day during the week, come in here and go shopping if you want.
That's correct. They're open during regular business hours, Saturday to Friday, whether or not you are here to catch a game or whether or not we have an off day.
Okay. And we would enter right through this front door over here, which also leads to the front of the stadium. Let's go take a look at the sign over here that I know you showed me when you first came on board. And tell me a little bit about what this means.
Yeah, so victory means a little more here is a slogan that not only we use, but you'll see used by Fayetteville and Cumberland County and the Visitors Bureau here. And we thought that slogan incorporated a lot of the themes you see in this area into our ballpark. Obviously, Fayetteville is home to Fort Bragg, the largest military installation in the world, and we are America's true hometown. And so this being a sporting competition, obviously it's all about winning and losing, and we figure that nobody knows more about winning than the city of Fayetteville.
Right. Well, that's a fantastic slogan and a fantastic side there to stand in front of, take selfies at, or do pictures with your family.
Correct.
So great there, great with the entrance here. This is where it all begins.
Correct.
But I think before we end, what we need to do is share with our viewers where you buy tickets if you want to come.
Yeah.
So let's point them over in this direction. Talk about box office sales.
Yes, so this is our box office. Box office is open 10 to 5, regular business hours, and we have plenty of packages available, whether it be getting a four-top, having a rocking chair, or just getting general admission tickets so you can sit by the bar.
Right.
These are all really flexible packages that we've gotten good response from so far.
Well, this is fantastic. I think that about wraps up all the great things to see, but
Sure.
I would offer to our viewers, as they hear the pounding behind us and see people moving around and sprinklers out here on the grass, that this is still a work in progress. The other things outside this stadium, Prince Charles Hotel, the Hyatt Regency that's going up over here, as well as some office space, is all really as a result of this baseball stadium coming here.
That's correct.
And then for the next year or two, as it continues to build, this will become an even better and prettier area in the front yard. So I would offer to our viewers, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm Kevin Arata with the City of Fayetteville, and with us again, Mark Zarther, the president of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. Well, thanks again, Mark.
Thank you for coming to
joining us.
Segra Stadium.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you guys being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.